Order number 6, notices of motion.
Is the chair of Finance Committee here? I think we'll also skip that, and probably they're not ready. Next order.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
Oh, members, I want you to be alert so that we're able to do this as quickly as possible. We have in the order paper listed the questions and statements for today. We'll start with the member for Central Imenti. Is Honorable Kirima in the house? It's not in today, so the question is stood over. On statements, we'll start with Honorable Gian Kagiri. Not in yet. The Honorable Sankaire.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I have a request for a statement regarding the status of the investigations of reported cases of child trafficking and sexual exploitation in Maimahiu. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44, Section 2C, I rise to request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security regarding the status of investigations into reported cases of child trafficking and sexual exploitation in Maimahiu in Nakuru County. Honorable Speaker, on Monday, 4th August 2025, an investigative journalist unveiled the horrifying accounts of minors being trafficked and exploited for sexual purposes in Maimahiu. Notably, the residents in the area have in the past raised concerns to the police, urging them to take appropriate action, but no investigation and arrest have been made. Article 53 of the Constitution provides that every child has the right to be protected from all forms of exploitation, including from abuse, neglect, harmful cultural practices, all forms of violence, inhumane treatment and punishment, and hazardous or exploitive labor. Honorable Speaker, the inordinate delay in investigations and apprehension of suspects emboldens the perpetrators and exposes children to more abuse and trauma. If not urgently addressed, these inhumane acts stand to negatively affect children, particularly girls in the area. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security on the following. A comprehensive report on the status of investigations regarding the reported cases of child trafficking and sexual exploitation in Maimahiu and in Nakuru County. 2, the steps being taken by the government to ensure that perpetrators of the heinous crimes are identified, arrested, and prosecuted. Number 3, measures that the government is putting in place to dismantle the child trafficking and sexual exploitation networks in Maimahiu and similar hotspots across the country. Number 4, measures that the government is taking to provide immediate care, psychological support, and rehabilitation to the affected children, including provision of shelter and medical care. And 5, preventive mechanism that the government has put in place to safeguard the rights of children to protection and to protect them from all forms of exploitation. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable members, you may be aware, as communicated yesterday, that this afternoon, the Cabinet Secretary for Interior will be in the House to respond to such. So I would rather that we hold our horses and ask those questions to him. It'll be a better thing to do than to ask follow-up questions now when the relevant minister will be in the House this afternoon. So all you need to do is to be in the House in the afternoon and raise these issues in his presence, because as you would be aware, even as we refer these matters to the relevant committee, the committee will have to summon the minister, who will be in the House this afternoon. So be in the House and raise these issues we want to raise this morning with him. I think that's better guidance. And I hope members are accordingly guided. The next request for statement is from the member for Ndaragwa. the Honorable George Gachagua. He is not in the House. Members of Parliament should take their work seriously. By being in the House, especially when they file questions at the table office, so that they can ask them. The Honorable Member for Loima, the Honorable Akuja.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to request for a statement regarding the school feeding program in public primary schools in marginalized communities. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 44.2c, I wish to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Education regarding the school feeding program under State Department for Basic Education. Honorable Speaker, the school feeding program is a key initiative implemented by the State Department for Basic Education to promote access to education in increasing school enrollment, improving health of school-going children, and enhancing overall academic performance. However, it is deeply concerning the public primary schools in Asal area, especially in Turkana County, are facing acute shortage of food supply since the commencement of each term, which has been a recurring problem. Schools receive food at the end of every term when schools are already closed, which serve no purpose. Many vulnerable children who are motivated by availability of food in schools have been forced to drop out of school. This shortage severely undermines the welfare of the learners and has a negative impact on the education sector in the region. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Education on the following. 1, reason for persistent delay of food supply to public primary school in Asal regions. 2, report on assessment of the operational capacity of the State Department of Education to meet the education needs of marginalized communities, including the challenges the State Department may be facing. 3, plans for immediate intervention to ensure timely supply of food to affected schools. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The chairperson on Committee on Education. Education, yes, this question is directed to that committee. The Honorable Isairo, how long would you?
Let's do it first week upon resumption of after recess.
But did you hear the question?
I'll get the statement. Yes, I had.
Order. Did you hear the question?
Yes.
Okay. Now, on the issue of Education Committee, this was communicated yesterday by the Speaker, and this goes to all the chairs of committees. They said we have a chair of a committee and a vice chair. The idea that now committees appoint members of parliament to come and respond to questions is abominable, because the reason we appoint chairmen of committees and their vice chairs is that they have responsibilities, and they are paid for those responsibilities. And so this has to go to all the chairs. The issue of keeping on delegating without authority is not a good idea for the proper working of Parliament. The Honorable Akuja.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I'm surprised by this particular committee, or rather the Minister of Education. I asked a question 3 weeks ago, and they gave 2 weeks as the time upon which they will be able to respond. This is the third week, and that particular response has not been brought. And this is not the first time this particular ministry is not responding to members' questions. And I wonder, even this particular chairman or chairpersons of these committees, I don't know what becomes of them. Like there is a question asked the chairperson, Budget and Appropriation Committee. He was supposed to bring the response on the 26th of June. That chairperson has not appeared in this chamber. I don't know what happens to chairperson of a Budget and Appropriation Committee when they become chairpersons. They cease to become members of this house. Honorable Atandi, since 26, I've not seen him.
We are not discussing the chairperson of the Budget Committee. Your matter is a very specific matter directed to the Committee on Education. And the committee so directed that the response to this will be filed the first week upon resumption from recess. Thank you. Now, the member for Machakos County, the Honorable Joyce Kameme, I think I saw her. Yes, go ahead and raise your statement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I request for a statement regarding the safety and security of pedestrians using the Mlolongo Footbridge. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Department Committee of Roads and Transport regarding the safety and security of pedestrians using the Mlolongo Footbridge. Honorable Speaker, the main objective of the provision of pedestrian footbridges was to enhance safety for pedestrians and at the same time reduce pedestrians and traffic conflicts. However, the Mlolongo Footbridge, which was once intended to be a secure route, has deteriorated into a dangerous zone. It is now frequently used by border riders, posing a serious risk to pedestrians, particularly during peak hours in the morning and evening. In addition, the presence of hawkers has further congested the bridge, restricting free movement and creating confusion. These conditions have turned the footbridge into a hotspot of petty crimes, including the snatching of belongings by criminals on motorbikes. The residents are also concerned that persons with disability, PWDs, are the most vulnerable to these incidents as they struggle to navigate the dangerous bridge, calling for interventions to ensure their safety and security. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Department Committee of Roads and Transport on the following: measures taken to ensure the safety and security of pedestrians, particularly persons with disability, using the Mlolongo Footbridge. Number 2, steps taken to regulate and support hawkers in a manner that safeguards their livelihoods, which preserving pedestrian safety when crossing the footbridge. And the third one, the immediate steps taken to stop unauthorized use of the footbridge by motorbike riders and the initiatives made to provide alternative routes or designate space for motorbike users, thereby reducing congestion on the footbridge. Honorable Speaker, thank you.
Request for statement is directed to the relevant committee, the Committee on Transport and Infrastructure. Is the chairperson in the House? And the vice chairperson? The Honorable Kameme. The Honorable Kamene. What have you just done? Just hold on. Honorable Kamene. You've done what you've just done twice. It's never done like that. When I called your name, you crossed like that without doing the right thing. You've now just done the same thing again. It's not done like that. Now do the right thing. Do the right thing now and then come and say. Whether you're taking water or your phone, you have to follow the rules. Well done. So the Honorable Dawood, are you the vice chair or the chair of the... Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. We will respond 2 weeks after the recess, after we come back.
Okay.
Thank you.
The earlier communication I'd given still stands, that this House frowns upon chairpersons of committees who have taken responsibility and then now keep on pushing us all around because they don't want to come to the House. It's just not, because there's no way we're going to hold the Honorable Dawood responsible, and he's not the chair of the Committee on Infrastructure. But we'll hold you to your word on this. Sawa sawa. Thanks. Now, I will indulge the member from Ndaragwa, who has just walked in to raise his statement.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to request for a statement regarding the abduction of Mr. Ambrose Mwangi, a Kenyan in Somalia. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 44.2 Section C, I wish to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Relations regarding the abduction of Mr. Ambrose Kimiti Mwangi, a Kenyan in the Federal Republic of Somalia. Honorable Speaker, in September 2023, Mr. Ambrose Mwangi was employed by Icarus, a British-based company contracted by the United Nations Somalia to conduct medical evaluations and support rescue missions in combat zones. On 10th January 2024, while undertaking one of the rescue missions over the Galgaduud region in central Somalia, an area which is infiltrated by Al-Shabaab militants, the helicopter in which Mr. Mwangi was aboard reportedly developed mechanical problems and crash landed. Mr. Mwangi's employer reported to his family that upon crash landing, the crew and passengers were immediately taken hostage by suspected Al-Shabaab militants. It has now been over a year and a half since his disappearance in Somalia. Yet no substantial update has been communicated to the family regarding the progress of investigations and rescue. The family remains in a state of distress and uncertainty, with no clarity on Mr. Mwangi's whereabouts or safety. The situation raises serious concern about the safety of Kenyan citizens working abroad, as well as the effectiveness of our diplomatic interventions in such situations. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of Departmental Committee on Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Relations on the following. A1, a report on the status of investigations into the abduction of Mr. Ambrose Mwangi in Somalia, and 2, measures being taken by the Ministry of Foreign and Diaspora Affairs to assist in locating the whereabouts of Mr. Mwangi, including coordination with Somalia authorities. Steps the ministry has taken to ensure his safe return and mechanism to provide regular updates to his family. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
This question is, of course, committed to that committee. Where's the chair? Where's the vice chair? This isn't a matter for a member saying we'll do this. The Honorable Deputy Majority Leader, this is a very serious matter, and I don't want it to be treated like any other matter. A Kenyan abducted abroad in a friendly country. This is not a matter for a member of any committee to try their hands up and say, respond. No. This is a matter that requires a serious attention. And so it's upon you, as the Deputy Majority Leader, to ensure that this is followed through, not just answered, but followed through, so that this House gets to know the fate of Mr. Ambrose Kimiti Mwangi. Go ahead.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I've heard the member, and this is a serious matter. I think we have a right as a government to protect Kenyans both in the country and outside the country. and the abduction of a Kenyan in a friendly country is a serious matter. And therefore, I want to undertake to speak to the chairperson of Defense and Foreign Relations, because I think that's where it falls, so that we can expedite the process of making sure that this Kenyan is back in the country and safe. I'll do that, and much obliged.
In any case, how long do you need to at least give the House a response to this?
By tomorrow.
Okay, great. That will be so good.
Yes, by tomorrow.
And we hope that you keep your word and give us
Okay, thank you.
a response tomorrow. Is Honorable Kirima now in the House? If he's not, then we go to responses to statements raised earlier. And your order paper, you can see there are 3 responses to be given by the Committee on Education. Those are statements requested by the Honorable Bonaya, one by the Honorable Anthony Oluoch, and another by the Honorable Anna Muratha. To be responded to by the Committee on Education. By the chairperson of Committee on Education, the vice chair, the Honorable Isairo, you will walk out from this house and look for your chair. When he comes, I'll allow him to respond. Otherwise, I won't allow you to do so for the obvious reasons stated earlier. Yes, look for him or the vice to. Okay, good. So those questions will not be responded to for that reason. And I don't need to belabor that going forward, the House will not allow an ordinary member to respond to questions on the floor because you have chairs and vice chairs. This is the order from the Speaker, and the chairs better take note and act accordingly. Next order. Remember, for the convenience of the House, I would request that we go back to order number 5 and then order number 6 accordingly. On the matter that we had stood over, the matter of vetting of the member nominated to be member of the Central Bank of Kenya. Honorable Naomi Wako.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Wednesday, 13th August 2025. Joint report of the National Assembly Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning and the Senate Standing Committee on Finance and Budget on the approval hearing of a nominee for appointment as board member of the Central Bank of Kenya. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I lay.
Next order. You can go ahead to give the notice of motion.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I give notice of motion on co-chairperson Joint Parliamentary Committee on vetting of the nominee as a member of the board of the Central Bank of Kenya. Approval hearing of nominee for appointment as member of the board of the Central Bank. Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion, that taking into consideration the finding of the Joint Committee of the National Assembly Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning and the Senate Standing Committee on Finance and Budget on the approval hearing of nominee for appointment as a board member of the Central Bank of Kenya, laid on the table of the House this morning, and pursuant to Section 11.2 of the Central Bank of Kenya Act Cap 491, this House approves the appointment of Mr. Pius Angasa as a board member of the Central Bank of Kenya. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Sunkwili, what is out of order?
For purposes of moving a motion, For purposes of moving a motion, giving notice of motion, is the member in order to say that this house is laid on the table of this house this morning, because tomorrow that motion will not be reading this morning. It will read the exact date. Can't she read the motion the way it will always appear?
For clarity, and you know the Honorable Sunkuli is now a ranking member. Go ahead and do what is requested that you do.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion that taking into consideration the finding of the Joint Committee of the National Assembly, Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning, and the Senate Standing Committee on Finance and Budget on the approval hearing of the nominee for appointment as a board member of the Central Bank of Kenya, laid on the table of the House on Wednesday, 13th August 2025, and pursuant to Section 112 of the Central Bank of Kenya, Act Cap 491, this House approves the appointment of Mr. Pius Angasa as a board member of the Central Bank of Kenya. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Then, members of the conveners of the House informed that the Honorable Kirima and the Honorable Kagiri are now in the House. We request members that when you have what is listed in the order paper, you be here on time and early, because it's only through your presence that we get quorum and we also carry out the business of the House. So the Honorable Kirima, go ahead and request your statement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, I'm very sorry that I was caught up in a very bad jam. Thank you. My question, Mr. Speaker, sir, is that that's question number 069 of 2025, of which is that I'm asking, could the Commission, State Measures the Teachers Service Commission, is taking to address the wrong-standing and employment of P1 trained teachers who have been remained and absorbed since the year 2010. Number 2, can the Commission explain why teachers who attended promotional interviews for ND teachers and deputy ND teachers positions were overlooked, despite some having served in the acting capacities for over 5 years, relegating the same teachers to regular classroom roles in the same schools? 3, can the Commission state the reason why teachers from Central Imenti constituency were overlooked, whereas junior teachers from other counties were promoted and deposited to schools there in Central Imenti? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The chairperson of the Committee on Education. There's a question to you regarding the absorption of P1 teachers who have remained unabsorbed since 2010. I hope you heard the question. How long do you need to respond to that question?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think because we are heading for recess the first week when we are back, because we shall actually, this issue, we've been handling it with the committee, especially of the 45 years and above, and the several P1 teachers who actually cleared their courses from 2009 up to now, and many of them have not been absorbed. So they brought us some statement a few weeks ago regarding the member for Keses, but the figures were not adding up. So I shall combine this particular question with the other question, so that I will have a comprehensive report to the House immediately we are back from recess. Thank you.
Okay. I think we leave it at that and wait for the report from the... And the question is elaborate, Honorable Chair. I want you to get time to look at the order paper. It's a very elaborate question on P1 teachers, on promotions, and specifically now on teachers from Imenti Central. Honorable Kagiri.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for being magnanimous enough to indulge us. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to provisions of Standing Order 44-2C, I wish to request for a statement regarding the effect of the ban by the government of the United Republic of Tanzania on operation of foreign businesses by non-citizens, particularly Kenyans. Honorable Speaker, I also wish to clarify that from the outset, that in accordance with the provisions of Standing Order 87, this statement is not intended to question or discuss the conduct of any individual or head of state of the Republic of Tanzania, but rather to draw the attention of this House to a matter of regional policy concern. On July 28, 2025, the United Republic of Tanzania issued the business licensing, in brackets, prohibition of business activities for non-citizens, Order 2025, which seeks to prohibit specific business activities for non-citizens. This directive prohibits non-citizens from operating in 15 sectors, including business of sale of goods, on-farm, crop purchasing operations, ownership and operation of micro and small industries, among other sectors. The order is worrying as it contradicts the spirit of the integration of the East African Community, EAC, espoused in the East African Community Treaty 2000, particularly on the free movement of goods, services, capital, and persons, and the elimination of trade barriers among partner states. The move by Tanzania also risks undermining regional integration, rolling back the gains made in creating a common market under the EAC Common Market Protocol. Honorable Speaker, this House may recall that in 2019, the Finance Act as enacted introduced increased levies and import duties on finished consumable goods, including those from the region. While this provision was intended to protect local industries and promote domestic consumption, it drew criticism from EAC partner states, including Tanzania, who viewed it as inconsistent with the Common Market Protocol and threatened retaliatory measures due to the impact on their exports to Kenya. In response to the resulting diplomatic friction and in the spirit of regional cooperation, this House, through the Finance Act of 2023, repealed the 2019 provision. However, this repeal has since negatively affected local manufacturers and traders who now face competition from lower-priced foreign imports. Honorable Speaker, it ought not to be lost on us that our good neighbor, the United Republic of Tanzania, which previously expressed concern over trade restrictions, has now imposed similar prohibitions on Kenya, despite the reciprocal action that this House took to repeal similar provisions when the region called on it. This raises legitimate concerns about unequal commitment to regional integration, obligations, and the need for Kenya to reevaluate its protectionism policy in light of the current developments. Honorable Speaker, considering the cross-cutting nature of this matter, I wish to seek a statement from the leader of the majority party on the following. Number one, the immediate steps taken by the Departmental Committee on Defense and Foreign Relations and the Select Committee on Regional Integration to intervene in the matter with a view to securing a reversal of the business licensing prohibition of business activities for non-citizens, Order 2025 by the government of the United Republic of Tanzania. Number two, protectionist considerations to be made by the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning in re-examining the possibility of reinstating the 2019 provisions on imposition of import duties on finished consumables from the region, and similar considerations to other sectors as steel and cement in light of the recent developments by the United Republic of Tanzania. Number three, a report on the steps taken by the Departmental Committee on Trade, Industry and Cooperatives and the Select Committee on Regional Integration in engaging the Cabinet Secretaries for Ministry of Investments and Trade and Industry and the Ministry of East African Community, EAC, the ASALs and the regional development on the measures being taken by the government to address the policy by Tanzania and its impact on the Kenyan traders. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Leader, this is directed to you. Honorable Baya, I'm taking into account that this is an election year in Tanzania.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I think this is also a first in this parliament where a statement is sought directly from the leader of majority instead of the committees in charge. But notwithstanding, Honorable Speaker, I think one of the things that I must say is the relationship between Kenya and Tanzania are still very stable, and we still share that cordial relation as a brother-to-brother country. And we will continue to do that despite some of these things that are coming from our sister country. Honorable Speaker, I undertake that we will be responding to that statement when we resume after recess, Honorable Speaker. And we, in view of that statement, we look forward to actually strengthening the relationship between Kenya and Tanzania going forward. And we also wish the Tanzanians well as they move into, to go to the general elections that they have, and wish that that government still remains stable, still remains more accommodative, because we are children of Jumuiya, the East African community, and we want to stick there, and we want Tanzania to be there, and we want every East African community member to continue to be there with those protocols that we have established over the many years. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Baya. This is a very elaborate question, Honorable Baya.
Yes.
It's a very elaborate question.
Yes.
If you listen to the Honorable Kagiri,
yes,
it cuts across 4 departmental committees, 4.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
we hope that even the response
yes,
will be as comprehensive as and deliberate.
No, we will engage all the ministers involved. We'll engage all the ministers, and especially the minister in charge of East African Affairs. We will and Foreign Affairs, and all those, we will put them together, and Minister of Trade also, and Investment, so that we have an elaborate question. Probably from that, this question, we may move to policy and ask our East African Legislative Assembly actually to look at all these matters and push a policy so that we don't have this kind of matter going forward. I thank you.
Thank you. Honourable members, I'm told that the chairperson for the Committee on Education has flown back from Homa Bay and is now in the House. Because we were told that the chairman of the Committee on Education was in Homa Bay, and I'm told he's now here. And I would allow him to respond to the questions by the Honourable Mumina Bonaya. I've just seen the Honourable Murada walk into the House, and the Honourable Antonio Lodge. But before he does so, all members, order. Join me in welcoming students from Njenga Karume Primary School, Kiambaa constituency, Kiambu County. They are sitting in the public gallery, and they are welcome to the National Assembly this morning and with the Houses of Parliament. So the Honorable Meli, the floor is yours. Be as brief as possible, for this indulgence we're giving to you.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I rise to give us a statement as requested by honorable members. But first and foremost...
Order. The Honorable Amai, what is out of order?
The next one. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I just realized that the Honorable Major Bashir is back to the House. I do not know whether he has finished his punishment. Remember, he was asked to withdraw something that he had said in the House, and he refused to withdraw. I do not know whether the punishment that he was given by the Speaker, whether he has finished, because I think it was a very long punishment. And I can see him very happy seated on his seat.
Thank you.
So,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Speaker, I think he has not finished.
Thank you. Honorable Bashir. How long was your punishment?
Honorable Speaker, my punishment was actually for that particular session. The Speaker actually said that you'll be out of the Parliament for the remainder of the session. So that was that particular session. Not for the whole session of Parliament, but for that particular day. Thank you.
I confirm that Honorable Bashir has finished his term of imprisonment and is rightfully in the House this morning. The Honorable Meli, go ahead.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to give several statements, and as per your direction, Honorable Speaker, I hope the members are present. But member for Isiolo, I will start with yours because I have several statements, requests for statements from member for Isiolo. I also have a request for statement from the member for Ann Murathe Mugo from Kiambu. I also have a request for statement from Antonio Lodge and Tindi Mwale. Honorable Speaker, as a Committee of Education and as a ranking member, we had agreed, and I know I can't go against your direction, that in the spirit of running the committee as one, and in the, we always discuss these issues with the concerned State Department and the members who are within the discussion would be able to present on
Order.
the plenary.
Order.
So, Honorable Speaker,
Order.
yes, thank you.
The Honorable Meli.
Yes.
Yesterday, and I will say, with all respect, I want to say this from the chair. That when the Speaker made a ruling yesterday, I took it upon myself. I personally called you and told you of the Speaker's ruling yesterday as your friend. I did that yesterday. Now, there is nowhere, and I've said that this morning, where we'll allow chairpersons to start having their own kangaroo agreements with their members to shirk their responsibilities. And so that agreement that you've had with them is thereby quashed, and it should never be heard about in the floor of the House.
Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Member for Isiolo, Honorable Mumina Bonaya, had requested a statement, and the report is as follows. All the 18 schools have been approved to be junior schools. In fact, 12 of the 18 schools have already received capitation. The registration of names and provision of bank details. The table below provides details regarding each of the schools. Honorable Mumina was asking the status of registering schools into junior schools. And the schools are as follows. Yagasadi in Isiolo, the name is code is AQYG. All that received capitation in second term. Abagase also received capitation. All the way to number 6, Mercy School, they received capitation in second term. And the last school, Dololo Dakie in Isiolo, also received capitation in second term. So all the schools that requested by Honorable Member for Isiolo have actually been registered as junior schools and had received capitation, and they have been indicated. I wish also, we wish also to indicate that the construction of grade 9 classrooms, the county has equitably done in the context of available resources, driven by the need to promote access, especially in the marginalized areas. In Isiolo County, for example, 82 classrooms have been constructed and completed. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Yes. That is for the member for Isiolo. And then I have also for Honorable Abdul Haro, who is our member of Education Committee. Yes.
Kiambu County.
Member for Kiambu County. Thank you.
Mumina, allow him to finish this, then we can take all of them together.
Yes. There is a statement. Yes, let me respond to the one for Kiambu County. Yes. A request for a statement regarding challenges facing the Kiambu National Polytechnic sought by the Honorable Anne Morade Mugo, MP. Honorable Speaker, the State Department responded as follows. A report on the steps being taken to recruit at least 400 additional trainers for the Polytechnic ahead of the September 2025 intake. The National Assembly has allocated a total of Kenya shillings 2 million for the recruitment of additional TVET trainers across the country in the current financial year 25-26. The recruitment proposal for the current financial year 25-26 targets a total of 5,500 trainers. Currently, the institution has 166 trainers employed by the Public Service Commission and 138 by the Board of Governors. The institution will benefit from the additional allocation of trainers in proportion with the institutions across the country. This will be done once the projected recruitment has been undertaken. Section 2, response for the delays in disbursement of capitation and measures put in place to expedite the exercise of help loans and scholarships to students in the polytechnics. Honorable Speaker, the main reason for the occasional delays in disbursement of capitation to TVETs is occasioned by the delay in the release of exchequer by the Treasury. For instance, exchequer requisition for capitation for financial 24-25 were made as and released as follows. So this is actually what the State Department is saying, that capitations, exchequer releases are the main issues. One, capitation, they released amount 1,102,194. The date of requisition was 6/9/2024, but they got the money on 16th of November. No, 16th of September 2024. The remaining capitation of 3 billion, they made the requisition on 23rd December 2024, but they got the money on February 2025. So the delays is not actually the issue of State Department. It is the issue of the release of the exchequer by the National Treasury. So the State Department states that we continue to engage with the National Treasury to ensure the provision of adequate budget and the timely provision of funding to TVET institutions. We also wish to inform the August House that capitation scholarships and loans for TVET trainers have been underfunded for the extent of 19 billion in the financial year 24-25, comprising deficits of 12.5 billion for the scholarships and 2.96 billion for capitation and 3.84 for loans. I think this is an issue which the committee has brought to this House severally, Honorable Speaker, and it's an issue that is, and the State Department has done a lot in mobilizing students. I want to inform the House. Now they are targeting about 2 million students. To have 2 million students in our TVET institutions will actually get many of our young men and women out of the streets and out of the local centers. What we need to have is actually money for these students, scholarships and loans. And I think this House, it will be good that we actually budget not less than 40 billion for the TVET institutions. The other one is, the third part of the question was progress made in implementing the 1,240 student accommodation units under the housing program to ensure availability of adequate accommodation in the institution. Honorable Speaker, I wish to state, or the State Department wish to state as follows, that they are working closely with the State Department for Housing and Urban Development on implementation of 1,240 trainees accommodation units under the Affordable Housing Program. This will ensure availability of accommodation to trainees in the institution. The State Department for Housing and Urban Development has invited bids on 25th March 2025 to undertake the construction works and signed an agreement with the management of the Kiambu National Polytechnic on the project. We are now waiting for the State Department for Housing and Urban Development to assign a contractor to the project. We are following up with the said State Department to expedite. The fourth part of the question was, what is the Ministry of the plans by the Ministry of Education to fund and equip the specialized technical departments in the institutions? Honorable Speaker, the Ministry is keen on equipping specialized technical departments at the Kiambu National Polytechnic through both income-generating activities at the institution and donor support. Currently, with the support of the German government, the Ministry is providing infrastructure and equipment in industrial mechatronics to support development of skills in industrial automation and agriculture and value addition. So for the project has procured basic equipment in supporting the delivery of dual training and the provision of ICT equipment to enhance delivery. The second batch of equipment on the heavy training equipment are at the evaluation stage of the procurement. The ministry will progressively equip specialized workshops and departments based on the skills requirement of the industry. So that is the funding part and how we are doing to have specialized aspects. And I think they have the EINE, or what they are calling the money they are generating internally, and the donor support, what we call the GTZ, which is doing a lot more in 5 national polytechnics. So those are the questions. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I would like to thank the committee chair for the response they brought to the floor of the House on registration of junior secondary schools in my school, in my county, sorry. But Honorable Speaker, the reason why it took my intervention to have this school registered it has everything to do with how the ministry is misusing NEMIS to deny funding to the schools and delay registrations of our schools. In my county, I have so many schools where, while the schools register students on NEMIS, on this end, their details are removed. And the funding that they send to those schools are less than what is required and the number of students that they are keeping in those schools. Similarly, they are using NEMIS to deliberately delay registrations of schools because they don't want to send resources to these schools. So, Speaker, this is a matter that seriously needs to be looked into, and we can't move on like this. We can't go on like this because every time head teachers are crying to us saying that there are debts that they're not able to pay because they are keeping too many students in the school, and on this end, ministry is sending less than what they've registered on NEMIS.
Wait, the Honorable Chair, this is a very straightforward matter that I think we don't need to do a back and forth on it.
Yes.
Yeah. The member standing on the aisle, you either be on the right or the left of the aisle, but you can't stand on the aisle for 10 minutes. This should be straightforward. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I agree with the Honourable Member. And this is an issue which the committee has been really pursuing every other time, in the sense that every other time the students captured in NEMIS and the actual students in the school has not been adding up. So that is why the Committee on Education did actually petition the ministry and the CS to make sure that we have a comprehensive application where it will be able to capture all the students and be able to have a modern system where the students in school physically and the students captured at the ministry are the same.
Okay.
That is why they proposed the introduction of EMIS, which is going to be used from basic all the way to university. Okay, so great. I agree with you, and that is why they are doing that correction. Thank you.
Sometimes there's nothing wrong in the committee. Isiolo is not in Uganda or Tanzania, it's in the country. Why can't the committee just do a spot check in one of the schools one of these days? If members of parliament are saying in their schools the numbers are 800, but the others are saying are 400, the committee can just do a spot check in 3-4 schools and give us a report. Why do you want to depend on the report of the ministry? Just do a spot check.
Mr. Speaker, I just want to say this. Our committee has really been having spot-on checks across national polytechnics, across universities, and we are actually on top of it. Even the other day, we are proposing to visit schools to find out the relationship between the actual students in classroom and the students captured on NEMIS, and even the SECPI projects. In fact, in this recess, we are supposed to move around all the schools on that particular matter.
You're waiting for that report. The member for Kiambu.
Honorable Speaker, I just needed a clarification.
Okay. Let's hear her first. You'll come. Let's hear Honorable Murada first.
I just wanted a point of clarification from the chairman over the employment of the 400 teachers in the TVET, where he said they had, he indicated that they had a budget of about 2 million. And I'm wondering whether it is 2 million or 2 billion for the 400 teachers in the TVET.
Member for Nandi. Allow her to, because she also wants a clarification. Allow her first.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I think Comrade has handled my concern because I wanted it to be straight on record because the chair read 2 million and the number was way over the budget that can be accommodated by 2 million.
Correct.
Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Correct. The member for Isiolo. Just hold your horses.
Thank you. Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, the issue here is, while the teachers register the students on NEMIS, they are being removed from this other side. The issue is not even they are not registered. They are being captured on NEMIS, but they are being removed. Who is this doing that job?
Okay. Understood. Honorable Dawood, I would like, Honorable Chair, take down all these concerns, whether you can handle them once.
Chair, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want the chair to, he has told us they're going to look at the NEMIS, but how long will this take? NEMIS has been there for ages, and if we are still being told NEMIS will sort it out, when will it do? We have to have a timeline, Mr. Speaker, because we are told more than, I don't know, billions are lost in this capitation, even school infrastructure, billions are lost. So are we going to wait until when?
Thank you.
So there should be a time frame, Chairman.
Thank you very much, Chair. Honorable Speaker, I would like to say that this matter of students not being invisible in EMIS is a very serious matter. And I think this house is being let down by the directors of education in our sub-counties. And students are losing money every financial year. We budget for it, but it does not reach those students. Normally, the president says, if it can be done, let it be done immediately. So the question is, government is the one that does registration. Government is the one that gives birth certificates to these students. But the government is the one that has employed the directors of education, and this house gives them money, and this money does not reach pupils and students in our schools. So why is it that it cannot be done? So I would like to ask, just like my colleague from Isiolo is saying, can the chair give us timelines on when all the students in our primary and secondary schools will be captured in EMIS? Thank you, Chair, for the opportunity.
To be.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is a matter which has been going on for a long time. The issue about the NEMIS. For us to get the real students who are in every class, every school, NEMIS does not agree with even the head count of the students. I have tried from my constituency, I have tried to get the number of students in all those schools because I pay for them. But what won't happen is that I'll try to get 3 sources. 1 is head count of students. 2 is the class register. 3 is NEMIS. NEMIS does not agree with any of those ones. And why you don't have, I've even gone to the Ministry of Education to try to know exactly why this thing is happening. And the principals and the headmasters out there are told that when they try to feed the system, that thing kicks back. I don't know, it doesn't go through, that's what they are saying. Why is this thing happening? Is it a corruption? Because I believe that there must be something corruption or sort of, which is going on in this area.
Thank you. Member for Makweni.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Actually, the issue that is being discussed on this floor is a very thorny issue. In my constituency, we have many schools, almost all schools have students who appear in the register, they appear in everything else in the school, but never in the NEMIS. Teachers have followed this process because I've demanded, you cannot come to complain to me when you can go to the ministry and have your records done. I don't know what's wrong with the sub-county leaders, because every year in, year out, this data is not being captured. There is always this flimsy excuse that some students do not have a birth certificate, the birth certificate does not match with the ID of the mother. I mean, as a government, how can we not sort such petty issues?
Thank you.
And why have we employed people?
Thank you.
Then, Honorable Speaker, we need to have a balance sheet. If the money does not go to the school, where does it go? All these years. Can we have the education committee give us a clear balance sheet? If last year it did not go to the school, where is the money? Because money cannot disappear in the system.
Thank you.
Because this is very, very wanting. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Kiara.
Sorry, Honorable Speaker, thank you. Honorable Speaker, I want to join my colleagues in the concern of this matter of EMIS and what is happening in this republic. We may keep blaming the directors of education, we may keep blaming everyone else, but the bottom line is our teachers who are running these schools, they are really suffering. Because when the data does not capture the reality in the schools, the money that trickles down to these schools is dismally very little money. And at the end of the day, it is the students who suffer. the teachers don't know what to do. So, Honorable Speaker, I want to say, let the Education Committee be head on with the Ministry of Education so that we know what exactly happens at the ministry headquarters before we really blame on the education or at the sub-county level, because the buck stops in the office of the person who is responsible of overseeing the Ministry of Education.
Thank you.
We stop apportioning blame. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
And lastly, the Honorable Hilary Kosgei on this.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. If every member had an opportunity to contribute, the story will be the same across the country. And Mr. Speaker, technology is meant to help and to solve complex issues. Which is this technology that derails that function, Mr. Speaker? I think, Mr. Speaker, it is fair that you give a direction that within a specific period of a month, for example, the Ministry of Education goes out to clean and to capture every student in the Republic of Kenya and come with a confirmation to this House that every student schooling in the Republic of Kenya is now captured in EMIS, so that we close this matter once and for all.
The Honorable Ngurus.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this time to add my voice on the issue that is discussed on the floor of this House. Mr. Speaker, the issue that is coming up here is a very important issue that's really affecting the learners in our schools. Mr. Speaker, it's really discouraging that we have a whole ministry with so many employees, so many top officials, but they cannot account for the number of students in our schools. And Mr. Speaker, this has made really running of our schools very difficult. Sometimes even keeping the students in our schools is really becoming a big problem, because managing our schools without having the real number, without complying with the resources that are supposed to go down to the schools, becomes very difficult to manage our schools, Mr. Speaker. And this has really affected the learning, because sometimes even taking care of the students without having the right resources, because of the number that's being submitted by the ministry, is really a shocking story to this country. So, Mr. Speaker, we want to task the Ministry of Education that the number of the students should always tally with the number that is in the NEMIS, because that will reflect on how much resources will go down to the schools. Another problem, Mr. Speaker, is that if the system is really not working and it's not adding up, why don't we have a parallel manual program that the ministry can capture the number of students per school, such that at a certain point they can be able to compare the number in the NEMIS and also have a manual register which can capture all the students in a school. Because you can imagine, you can have 1,000 students in a school, but in the NEMIS you can have less than 300. So who will account for the number that's missing? So, Mr. Speaker, something needs to be done.
Thank you.
And the Ministry of Education should be up to the task.
The Chair of Education Committee.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I agree with the sentiments of the members, and I want to give a brief, just short story, and I want to say my former chair education, before the introduction of NEMIS, they were using, Honorable Sabina Chege is here, before the introduction of NEMIS, they were using leaflets and papers from schools to ascertain the number of students in those schools. After our visit to the US, and we saw the US charter schools, that is when NEMIS was introduced. And we realized that there was a complete mismatch between the list brought by the principal to the Ministry of Education and the actual students on the ground, because they were just adding it up. But now with the introduction of NEMIS, other issues have arisen. And I want to tell the House that about in June this month, the new principal secretary launched EMIS, and they brought in EMIS because of the inability of NEMIS to capture all the student data. So I want to say this, Honorable Speaker, that what I have read here And what the committee has tasked the ministry to do is to ensure that EMIS is functional and running before the end of September. And then two, the issues of money not remitted to schools is actually what this house has been telling the minister, the committee has been telling the minister, and we are putting him to task every time. It's not only capitation, even money for sports, even money for music. We are having issues on their disbursement to schools. So, Honorable Speaker, I raise the case there. Thank you.
The Honorable, no. We will not allow any further discussion on this matter. My direction is this: we will not take, because the Honorable Chair has just introduced a new confusion. That there's NEMIS, now there's KEMIS, we don't know. So the direction, order. The direction I'm giving on this matter is that the Cabinet Secretary for Education shall come to the House the week we resume. Most particularly, the Wednesday of the week we resume after recess. With a specific role, nothing else, to explain to the House on the system for registration of students in our schools. No other subject. So that we get to know. We don't want to hear it from a fellow member of parliament. We want to hear, is NEMIS still there or is not there? And what is KEMIS? So that members leave the House knowing the system that we're using to register students in our schools. So that we don't have so many questions coming out on this. And it's so ordered. Next order.
Order number 8, the Breastfeeding Mothers Bill, National Assembly Bill number 8 of 2024, second reading. Question to be put.
Order. Now, honorable members, debate on this motion, or this bill was completed last week, and I now put the question. Order. I now put the question that the Breastfeeding Mothers Bill, National Assembly Bill number 8 of 2024, be now read a second time. Will as many other opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many other contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to make provision for breastfeeding mothers, to provide for employers' obligations towards breastfeeding working mothers in the workplace, to provide for baby changing facilities for use by the public and for connected purposes.
Next order.
Order number 9, the County Government's Amendment Bill, Senate Bill number 25 of 2023, second reading. Question to be put.
Members, debate on this bill also completed, and I now put the question. Order. I now put the question that the County Government's Amendment Bill, Senate Bill number 25 of 2023, be now read a second time. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to amend the County Governments Act to increase the threshold for removal of a member of a county executive committee and for connected purposes.
Next order.
Order number 10, motion, expression of concern on the Middle East conflict. Question to be put.
Members, I should remember the debate on this motion also completed last week, and therefore let members have a chance to vote either way. Order. Members, the motion is on expression of concern on the Middle East conflict. That, aware that Kenya ratified the United Nations Charter on Human Rights on 31st July 1990, and further recollecting that among the rights enshrined in the Charter is the right to life and self-determination by people, cognizant of the fact that Israel occupation of Palestine territory in Gaza and the West Bank has been characterized by disproportionate and indiscriminate use of force, concerned that this has deepened the humanitarian crisis in the region, including the destruction of infrastructure, widespread civilian casualties, and the willful killing of Palestinian civilians, including children in the occupied territories by the Israeli army, noting that these grave breaches amount to war crimes, flagrant violations of international humanitarian law, and crimes against humanity, concerned that the recent escalation of hostilities between Israel and Iran, including cross-border strikes and retaliatory attacks, threatens to engulf the wider Middle East region in conflict, recalling that Kenya has previously suffered attacks on its soil as a result of the Middle East conflict, including the 2002 attack on the Paradise Hotel in Kampala, appreciating that United Nations General Assembly recently passed a resolution demanding an end to Israel's unlawful occupation of Palestinian territories and urging compliance with international law, further appreciating the urgent need for international community, including regional powers and the United Nations Security Council, to intensify diplomatic efforts aimed at achieving an immediate ceasefire, facilitating humanitarian access, and initiating inclusive peace negotiations in the Middle East. Appreciative of the role Kenya has played regionally and internationally in global peace initiatives and in mitigating violations constituting crimes against humanity, and in solidarity with the Palestinian civilians subjugated by Israel, this House now expresses deep concern over the dangerous escalation in hostilities in the Middle East and threatens international peace and security across the Middle East and beyond. 2, reaffirms Kenya's proactive commitment to a peaceful resolution of disputes through negotiation, diplomacy, and adherence to the principles of the United Nations Charter. 3, urges all parties to the conflict to protect civilian lives and infrastructure in accordance with the Geneva Conventions and international humanitarian law, and to exercise maximum restraint and immediately cease further acts of aggression, including aerial bombardments, missile strikes, and other forms of military escalation. And 4, calls on the international community, including the United Nations and regional powers, to intensify diplomatic efforts aimed at the escalation and restoration of dialogue and a return to the frameworks of international law. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of the opinion say nay? Ayes have it. Order.
Order number 11, motion, consideration of Senate amendment to the Land Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 40 of 2022. Question to be put.
Oh, members, order. Order. Oh, members, we're in business of the House, so you'll have to be orderly. Debate on this bill, of this motion, was also completed last week, and therefore proceed to put the question that the Senate amendment to the Land Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 40 of 2022, be now considered. Will as many other opinions say aye? Aye. Will as many other opinions say nay? Ayes have it. So members, before we proceed with the next order, join me in welcoming students from the following schools seated in the public gallery: Ramu Girls Secondary School, Mandera North; Ramu Day Secondary School, Mandera North; Takaba Boys Secondary School, Mandera West; Sheikh Ali High School, Mandera North; Kandolo Comprehensive School, Kilome, Makueni; and Ngutu Primary School, Tigania East, Meru County. The students are in the public gallery and they are welcomed for our proceedings this morning under the House of Parliament. The Honorable Bashir. And you do the honors for all the schools.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to take this opportunity to welcome all the schools that have visited the National Assembly this morning, and I want to urge them that it is a place of honor and you will learn a lot. In particular, I want to send my facilitation to Sheikh Ali High School, Ramu Girls, Ramu Day, and my neighboring school of Takaba. And I ask them that join us in seeing what Parliament and parliamentarians can do. And I'm sure that as you grow up, you'll be able to take up some of the roles that we do here currently. And I'm sure you came back from the music festivals and you did very well, and congratulations at the same time. So you are most welcome to the National Assembly and within the precincts of Parliament. Enjoy your time. Welcome all of you.
Oh, members, as you're aware, the students are here to visit us. It's not a business of the House, and they are all welcome for our proceedings. Next order. Honorable Tubi, what is out of order?
Mr. Chairman, I was here yesterday, and I raised an issue with the Speaker, Mr. Farah Malim. The issue is that 3 weeks ago, I asked for a statement from this House, from the Minister in charge of Security, the Chairman. And then it was selected for the 1 week, the week following the end of recess last time. And that one is over. Now we are going into another recess. And that's a matter concerning Isiolo, on the issue of whatever is happening in Isiolo, which is known by everybody, which has happened. Chaos is happening in Isiolo. And that chaos has something to do with the impeachment of the governor. Isiolo is ungovernable. Isiolo has problems. People are being killed here, left, right, center, and nothing is happening. And we have tried to ask about that, and then that question has not been answered to date. And now, yesterday I was promised it's going to be brought today, and it's not in the order paper, both of you.
Hey, Honorable Tulbi, I think your concern is noted. You may be aware that the relevant committee is this morning conducting a vetting exercise on nominees for National Police Service Commission, but they'll be in the House in the afternoon. And as I'd said earlier in the morning, that even the CS for Interior will be here in the afternoon. So just be in the House and raise these matters at the right time in the afternoon today. That is, there's nothing to respond to, Honorable Tubi. I've just communicated that the committee, the relevant committee, is, as we speak, conducting a vetting exercise on the nominees to the National Police Service Commission. That's why the chair is not in the House. We know that he'll be in the House in the afternoon. We also know that the CS for Interior will be in the chamber in the afternoon. So my advice to you is that be in the House in the afternoon to raise these issues with both of them. You are accordingly advised. Next order.
Order number 12, Committee of the Whole House.
Honorable members, please, those who wish to participate in the Committee of the Whole House, please take your seats. So, honorable members, we are considering the Senate amendment to the Land Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 40 of 2022. By the Honorable Kengara. Kengara, you are in the House. I can see you are seated in your place.
Senate amendment to clause 3.
I propose the question that Senate amendment to clause 3 be now approved. There is no amendment to this, so I now put the question that the Senate amendment to clause 3 be now approved. As many as of that opinion say aye. As many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. That is all. We have come to the end. I would like now to call upon the mover.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Senate amendment to the Land Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 40 of 2022, and its approval thereafter without amendment.
Honorable members, I now put the question, which is that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Senate amendment to the Land Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 40 of 2022, and its approval thereof without amendments. As many as of that opinion say aye. As many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable members, we are going now to consider the second bill, consideration of the President's reservation to the Cancer Prevention and Control Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 45 of 2022. This bill is by the Honorable Rahim Dawood. I can see you are seated in the House. Let's proceed.
President's reservations to clause 2.
I propose the question that the President's reservation to clause 2 be now approved. Chair Health, the Honorable Dr. Nyikao.
Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that clause 2 of the bill be deleted as proposed by His Excellency the President. Chairperson, clause 2 of the bill is proposed. It proposed to introduce the definition of the terms e-health and telemedicine to the Principal Act. The two terms are already defined in the Digital Health Act, and therefore the bill may cross-reference to the terms as defined in the Digital Health, and that is the rationale for that deletion as from the President. Thank you.
Let me first of all propose the question, then we can go to debate. I propose the question that clause 2 be deleted as recommended by His Excellency the President. Honorable Dawood.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, this bill of mine is of 2022, and what the President is talking about, the Digital Health Act, is for 2024 or 2025, and we passed this bill on 15th of April 2024. So I do not see the rationale of deleting my clauses. A bill which has taken more than 2 years to come to fruition, and it's just being now thrown to the dogs. So I think Article 115 has not been used properly, and the majority leader should take the concerns of this House, because there is no point of members of Parliament working on bills and then they are just being thrown out on actions which should not have been there, because my bill was passed before the digital bill. So, Madam Speaker, I oppose this, and it should go on record to the Speaker and the majority that this is not the way to treat members of Parliament, because there is no point in doing a bill for 2 years, and even the Ministry of Health was involved in this bill.
Yeah, we fully hear you, but you know what you require to be able to oppose. Yes, I'll give you a chance, Majority Leader. I can give you another minute to finalize.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I understand I need 2/3, and that is why I'm saying there is mischief was done in the Constitution with Article 115 and even Article 223, which is being misused currently. So, Madam Speaker, until we get to change those articles, I know my hands are tied by the Speaker's memorandum. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Yes, and you know, to change the Constitution, you also, it's a long process through a referendum. But I would like to state facts, because facts are important in this House, that this bill was concluded in this House not in 2022, but in 2024, April. And because of the bicameral situation of this House, it also had to go to the Senate. And it has been there for a long time, up to, I've requested the table to give us the exact month, but it is mid-2025. So this House has not made any mistake. We are just following the process. And you are right, even to oppose, it's your right. I would like to give a chance to the Majority Leader, but then I'll still go back to the Chair before we put the question. Proceed, Honorable Baya.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, that is what democracy is about, Honorable Dawood. That you have a constitution which you have to abide by. I also had my bill here in the same floor of the House. It went for assent. It got a presidential memorandum of reservation, and it came back here, and somehow, because we can't really marshal, otherwise, because of democracy, we should be able to marshal 2/3 and torpedo that the presidential memorandum, but because we cannot. And I want to fully agree with Honorable Dawood. This House is the House that makes laws legislatively. We have the power to do that. But somehow, this Constitution mutilated the power of this House by introducing 115 as a safeguard. But then now we are having the executive make law. Actually, that's what we are having here, that the executive now is making law, which is not their preserve Honorable Speaker. And if the executive has issues with the law that we are passing, they should bring it through the ministries before we even pass. But to allow Parliament to go through the whole hog to pass the law, then actually, what I have learned is the ministers go to the president and tell him, please don't sign because of this and that. And then a memorandum is brought to the House. But this is input from actually the executive. Honorable Speaker, I want to say this. I've been in this House now this is my second term. In the previous term, I think we had only 1 or 2 presidential memorandum. Meaning, therefore, the cabinet members and ministers were working very well with Parliament to ensure we pass the right law. But now, what we're having now in the executive is lazy members who do not make input until they realize a law has been passed, then they run and block assent. Honorable Speaker, this is bad manners. And I want to tell the executive, please participate fully when the law is here. The law allows us to do public participation, to consult with ministries. They should come on board during that time so that at that moment we do not get an opportunity where the president sends a memorandum. Right now, I think we have the memorandum that was for my bill. There's a memorandum that is for your bill. There's a memorandum for the member for Lamu East. And I think there's also another one. We are having a lot of memorandums coming in. This shows there's a problem. And I want to ask the Honorable Musalia Mudavadi's office, the Chief Cabinet Secretary, who have the parliamentary office, to ensure they do their job, to avoid this situation, Honorable Speaker, where a law goes to State House for assent and it is brought back. I think we are working backwards, and I think that should not happen. But Honorable Daud, you have to bite the bullet on this one. We can pass this one. 6 months after, you can bring a same amendment and use the same whip to change the law. I'll urge you to do that. Otherwise, because you can't marshal the 2/3, Honorable Dawood, we have to pass the law.
I think you have done your part. I think you're trying to make justification that you've also gone through the same process. But who do you want to inform, Honorable Dawood?
Ourselves.
No, before you inform the chair, I'll give you a chance to inform him, but I would like to give a chance to the chair on the deletion.
Chair, what has been stated is what the law is. We have said here many, many times that the Constitution has given the executive the opportunity to make law, even if we call it through the back door. But unfortunately, that's what it is. But there's another issue that we look at, is the processes, how we handle our process. And in this case, is that the time it took, the Digital Health Act came behind this, moved on, and was signed. So by the time this bill is getting, the vellum is getting before the president, the Digital Act is already a law. Therefore, reference can be made to it. If it had gone before the Digital Health Act, in my view, Health Act, with the information that what you are referencing to is already in the law. So I think our processes, we must also be careful what they do to our bills.
Thank you, Chair. There is a point of information from the Honorable Dawood. Would you like to be informed?
Information kills nobody. Let me hear the information.
Okay, please go ahead and inform the Honorable Dr. Nikal.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, this bill was back from the Senate last year in November, and the Health Committee accepted the changes early, I think in February. So it came back from the Senate last year, not this year, May, as you have been told by the clerk. So that is the information I want to pass.
Anyway, thank you very much. But for the record, we have consulted, and this is the order of events. This bill was passed by the National Assembly on the 24th of March. On 27th of March, 2024. It was passed by the National Assembly on that day. passed by the Senate and returned on the 16th of November 2024, 26th November 2024. Senate amendments also passed on 15th of April 2025, and now we have received the reservations from the President on the 1st of July 2025. So that's how it is in terms of order of events. But most important is that we need to put the question and make a decision. So, honorable members, so please proceed.
No, he wouldn't. This one came to Parliament after Aaron came, so he wouldn't intimidate me. So it has to be clear on that, and I agree with the Honorable Bayer that we should use this tool sparingly. The tool that is the presidential reservation should be used extremely sparingly, and above all, it should not be used to stifle a law that has been passed by Parliament. Honorable Chair, I always mourn. It's a bill I brought to this House 3 times. It was passed. In those 3 times, went to the President, and I was told about the President's reservations and refusal to resign 1 year later. And that's why I believe that even us as Parliament, we should try to get away of disciplining this. Otherwise, the body that makes law is Parliament, not the Presidency. And we should try to ensure that the issues that come with the President are, in my opinion, extreme circumstances, exceptional circumstances, unforeseen circumstances, not any matter willy-nilly. I support, Madam Chair.
Thank you. I have a point of order from a member for Kilgoris. What exactly is out of order?
It's just a point of order because I wanted to add on to what our friend...
But would you like me to give you a chance to contribute instead of adding?
No. It's just a point of order. That actually to emphasize the fact that it is always a default position. The default position is that the ayes have it. If the Speaker is not clear, or if the Speaker knows that the eventual answer is that they are not 2/3, even if they had more voices saying nay, the default position in this petition is they have it. The ayes have it. And it's as sympathetic as this problem might be, because apparently I always thought the Honorable Bayer, being a very strong leader from Kilifi of the UDA party, has a lot of access to His Excellency the President. This position, the leader of majority should have access, because if the voice of the advisors becomes stronger than that of the leader of the majority, it is going to have a lot of problems. Because maybe it's not even the cabinet secretary, maybe it's the advisor who went and said this thing should not be like this. And we'll be getting legislation from State House instead of getting legislation from this House.
Thank you. Honorable members, we are not debating. We are in the committee of the whole House. You can only say something if I give you a chance. And I'd given you a chance to say something before. Well, you'll say something after the majority leader. Yeah.
Chair, I want to draw this House to the time when the current Cabinet Secretary for Defense, Honorable Soipan Tunya, was on the seat where you are. And we were handling the Presidential Memorandum Reservation on the Finance Bill. I think it was on charging a tax on SMS and 3 items. that the president had brought in as a reservation. And I remember I was a very faithful member of ODM. And when this matter came up, we actually marshaled the numbers, if you remember, Simba. We marshaled the numbers, and we said we were ready. And because we did not want those reservations, and we had said for the first time we want to torpedo a presidential memorandum. What happened is that we lacked the numbers, I think, by 5 people. 5 people. And when the question was put, everybody said nay in this house. But the Honorable Soipan Tunya, because she was aware of the rule 115, she said the nays have it. No, she said the ayes have it. And it became pandemonium. And the media and everybody else highlighted it and said that Soipan had made a mistake. But she was right. And when I sat there, I remember J.B. Muturi asked me one question. He said, Owen, how many were you? I said we were 230. So is it wrong that Soipan Tunya did what she said? I said she was not wrong. She was right. So I want to tell my ladies here, we don't have the numbers. We don't have the numbers to torpedo a presidential. What Dawood should have done from yesterday was to have marshaled 233 members here. That's what he should have done. He's a wealthy, very well-connected man. And he would have used his position to influence every member to be in the House so that we can actually raise 234.
Thank you, Honorable Baya. The Honorable Dawood.
Chair, I believe you've got the memorandum in front of you, and I've got it in front of me. It is flawed, and it is inaccurate in the sense, if you read the 4th line, it says the Cancer Prevention and Control Amendment Bill 2025. My bill is 2022 and not 2025. And then you have even said that this bill was passed in March 2024, whereas the President is mentioning 15th of April 2024. So I think we're probably not talking about the same bill, because my bill is the Cancer Prevention and Control Amendment Bill of 2022 and not of 2025.
Order,
Chair.
order, Honorable Dawood. I do not want you to mislead this House or even mislead the public. I would like you to go to that memorandum and read the first paragraph. And the first paragraph is clear. We are talking about the Cancer Prevention and Control Amendment Bill 2022.
Chair, if you let me.
So we do not have 2025.
It is
and you
there.
know, if we mislead, there is no need of misleading the public. You still have another opportunity to make laws in this House. Yes, I'll allow you.
Chair, if you allow me, the heading is the Constitution of Kenya, referral of the Cancer Prevention and Control Amendment Bill of 2025. That is what it says. And it's not me. This has been signed in the office of the clerk, stamped, received on 30th June. So are we talking about the same? You know, subsequent can be there, but there are errors in this memorandum. And these errors cannot go just like that. Maybe the president needs to be told to redo it again. I know I cannot marshal 233 members. That is out of question. Even if I were able to, I know half of them would not vote for it. And I don't have an issue. But this thing is flawed, Chair, and it should be brought back, taken back to State House and brought back properly.
Listen. You know, Honorable Dawood, you are in your 3rd term, and I know that this doesn't happen every other day. And it is also a learning process for all of us, not just for you. So when you look at the Cancer Prevention and Control Amendment Bill 2022 is as per publication in that year. But now when you go up, if this was going to become an act, it will be 2025. So there is no error at all. This document is in order, and I'm going to give the last opportunity to the member for Makueni. Is it you had your hand up? No, it is the member for Machakos. You will be the last one, and then we put the question.
Chair, mine is just I've looked around, understanding order 35. We do not have enough quorum in the House to continue with this meeting. We don't have quorum.
Just come. I don't want you to leave because when she has already said that, the laws, you can approach. What is out of order before I make the statement?
Honorable Speaker, it's okay, it's within the rights of the member to say that. But also, so that because this is a learning process and we learn as we proceed, you need a presidential memorandum and Article 115. And I want members to read the Constitution. Whether we debate here and agree and do not agree, it takes precedence.
Order, Honorable. Order, Honorable Wenbaya. Now, I order that the bell be rung for 10 minutes. Unfortunately, the member for Taita Taveta, you cannot work out, so please come back. So let the bell be rung for 10 minutes.
Well, the House has been faced with a quorum hitch during the proceedings of its business. Before that point of order by the Honorable Member for Machakos County to alert the chairperson. The House was considering, or was at the Committee of the Whole House, considering the President's reservations to the Cancer Prevention and Control Amendment Bill, a bill originating from the National Assembly and sponsored by the Honorable Rahim Dawood, and some of the concerns that the members were looking at include clause 2, clause 3, as well as clause 4. However, the business has been cut short owing to the quorum hitch, and as you can see, very few members are inside the House. The decision of this particular bill or the reservations on the vote just requires a simple majority, owing to the fact that, as provided in the law, if there are any members who are looking to shoot down the amendments or the reservations or the recommendations as proposed by the President, will require 2/3, that is 233 members. However, the House as it stands now does not have enough members and perhaps cannot be able to raise it now, as had been indicated earlier by the deputy leader of the majority party, indicating that if the member who has sponsored the bill does not agree with the president's recommendations to the bill and wants the recommendations to be shut down, then he ought to have mobilized members to be able to get to the chambers and at least have enough members, more than 233, to be able to take a vote on the recommendations and to decide on the way in which he has given his position regarding the recommendations that are being considered on the floor of the House. However, with the number not present, then that would have just required a simple majority. However, the member for Machakos County rose a point of order to inform the chairperson, Honorable Rachel Nyamai, that the House, much as it's proceeding with its business, there is a quorum hitch during the proceedings of the House. This is as provided for in the House Standing Order number 35-1, which indicates that a member may rise on a point of order to inform the chairperson or the speaker that the House is lacking quorum, either during considerations of a business at the committee of the whole or during the normal plenary sitting. So right now is that the House is facing that particular quorum hitch, and the chairperson has directed that the bell be rung for 10 minutes. Normally, when the House is facing a quorum hitch, members who are present inside the chambers are normally not allowed to walk out. Of course, this is of course in line with the rules, and also not to jeopardize the already or the numbers that is already inside the House. And so members have to stick inside the chamber and allow the quorum bell to be on for those who are outside the chamber to be alerted that their presence inside the chambers is highly required, so that they can be able to make their way inside the chamber. And that bell is on for 10 minutes. Once that quorum is achieved, then the House will be able to continue with the business that was on the floor of the House. That was the consideration of the reservations, President's reservation regarding the Cancer Prevention and Control Amendment Bill, a bill originating from the National Assembly and sponsored by the Honorable Member Rahim Dawood. Standing Order number 35, paragraph 1, which talks about the quorum during the proceedings of the House, indicate that if at any time after the chair is taken or when the House is in a committee, which is the situation now, a member objects that there is not a quorum present, the Speaker or the chairperson shall count the members in the House or the committee, as the case may be. In this case, that is the committee of the whole House. Paragraph 2, if on the count under paragraph 1, a quorum does not appear to be present, the Speaker or the chairperson shall cause the division bell to be rung as on a division, and if no quorum is present at the expiration of the 10 minutes, subparagraph A indicates that if the Speaker is in the chair, the Speaker shall adjourn the House until the next sitting, and if the House is in a committee, the chairperson shall leave the chair and report the fact to the Speaker, who shall adjourn the House until the next sitting without a question put. Paragraph 3 indicates that whenever the Speaker or the chairperson as the case may be, is engaged in counting the House or the committee respectively, the doors shall remain unlocked, but no member shall be allowed to leave the chamber except a party whip, who may be permitted to leave the chamber to seek the members required to raise the quorum. That is what I had indicated earlier, that at such a case, when the House is looking for quorum, then no member is allowed to walk out of the chamber except for the whips of both sides, that is the majority side or the minority side, are allowed to walk out of the chamber. And this is, of course, to whip members who may be within the precincts of Parliament and not inside the chamber to make their way inside the chamber and enable the House raise that much needed quorum for the business that has been stopped to be able to continue, stopped owing to that particular quorum hitch to be able to continue. But also the same standing order indicates that if the House is in committee, the chairperson shall leave the chair. That is, if the quorum is not raised at the lapse of the 10-minute quorum bell. If the House is in committee, the chairperson shall leave the chair and report the fact to the Speaker, who shall adjourn the House until the next sitting without a question put. So we are waiting to see how the situation will be, if the House will be able to raise that quorum or if it will fail.
I order that the bell be stopped. Honorable members, we are unable to attain quorum. I will therefore proceed to report the fact to the Speaker. I thank you.
Chairperson, proceed.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I beg to report that while in the Committee of the Whole House, the Honorable Member for Machakos County, Honorable Joyce Kamene, raising Understanding Order 35, objected that the House did not have quorum. Having rung the bell for 10 minutes, quorum was not attained. Honorable Speaker, I beg to report.
Honorable members, as you are aware, that when that happens, then we will have to adjourn. And therefore, no members' time. Please be all you upstanding. Members be upstanding. Order. And the time now being 17 minutes to 12. This House stands adjourned until today, Wednesday, the 13th of August, 2025 at 2:30 p.m.